Photonic memory for photonic quantum processors. Source: DeepSeek expert with DeepThink. A German company has a photonic quantum processor, but its speed is limited by electronic memory. This article reflects current Chinese research on photonic memory. To eliminate the bottleneck between an optical processor and electronic memory, you need a fast optical buffer, a cache that stores light as light, avoiding repeated optical-electrical O/E/O conversions. This memory would sit directly in the photonic fabric, absorbing output photons on the fly and releasing them precisely when the processor needs them, while asynchronously draining to slower electronic RAM. Here are the most promising ways to build such an optical memory, ranging from simple delay lines to fully integrated photonic flip-flops and non-volatile phase change cells. 1. All optical delay line buffers, the photonic conveyor belt. Principle: light is routed through a long or recirculating path, holding data for a fixed or variable time. Implementation: fiber loops. A pulse enters a loop with an optical switch. It circulates until the switch releases it. Coherent control of the switch via nonlinearities or electro-optic modulators sets the delay. Slow light structures, photonic crystal waveguides, or coupled resonator optical waveguides, CROs, reduce the group velocity of light, compactly storing many bits. Switch delay lines on-chip. Cascaded Mach-Zehnder interferometers route pulses through different lengths of silicon waveguide, giving a discrete set of delays, for example, 0, 1, 2 clock cycles. Pros: ultra-high bandwidth, terahertz, relatively simple physics. Cons: volatile, delay limited, tens of nanoseconds up to microseconds on-chip, bulky if fiber-based, no random access, data must be read out in the order it was written. Role: acts as a streaming register file or FIFO buffer, absorbing bursts from the processor until electronic memory catches up. 2. Optical flip-flop/bistable memories. Latch a bit in light. Here the memory cell holds a steady optical state, for example, two distinct wavelengths, polarizations, or power levels, that represents a logical 0 or 1. A. Coupled laser flip-flops. Two microdisc or micro-ring lasers are cross-coupled. A set pulse triggers one mode, a reset pulse triggers the other. The state is read out by the lacing wavelength, demonstrated with INP-based microlasers, switching speeds greater than 5 GHz, consuming only femtojoules per bit. B. Nonlinear cavity flip-flops, SOA-based or resonator-based. A semiconductor optical amplifier, SOA, inside a fiber or integrated loop acts as a bistable element. A set pulse saturates the SOA, producing a high output state. A reset pulse depletes it. Similarly, a nonlinear micro-ring resonator, for example with Kerr nonlinearity, can switch between two resonant states. These have been demonstrated with switching times less than 100 picoseconds. C. Polarization bistability. In a VCSEL or a specially designed laser, the polarization of the emitted light can be toggled between two orthogonal states, each encoding a bit. Switching times approximately 50 picoseconds have been reported. Pros: true optical static RAM, SRAM, with indefinite hold time as long as bias is applied. Random access possible via wavelength division or spatial addressing. Cons: typically power-hungry due to constant bias. Scaling to large arrays is challenging because each cell is an active laser or amplifier. Fabrication uniformity is tough. 3. Phase change and non-volatile photonic memories. Store data in matter, read with light. Instead of using light itself as the storage medium, you use a material that changes its optical properties permanently, or until reprogrammed, and read it with a weak probe beam. Material: GST GE2SB2TE5, or other chalcogenide alloys, which switch between amorphous, low reflectivity, and crystalline, high reflectivity, states when heated by an optical pulse. Write, an intense write pulse from the processor melts/quenches the cell. Read, a low-power continuous wave beam senses the state via absorption or resonance shift. How it's integrated. A thin GST layer on top of a silicon waveguide or atop a micro-ring resonator. The resonator's transmission shifts markedly between the two states, enabling multi-level storage, up to 8 levels demonstrated. Speed. Write pulses can be picoseconds. The bottleneck is the phase change kinetics, approximately nanoseconds for crystallization. Readout is at the speed of light. Pros. Non-volatile. Zero standby power. Extremely high density, many cells along a single waveguide with wavelength division addressing, compatible with standard silicon photonics. Cons. Write endurance limited, approximately 10 to the power of 6 to 10 to the power of 9 cycles. Asymmetric write/erase times still requires an optical multiplexer to address individual cells. This technology is closest to a photonic DRAM, or even photonic SSD, that can sit directly on the optical interposer. 4. Quantum optical memories. When the processor is truly quantum. If by optical quantum processors you mean a photonic quantum computer, then you need a quantum memory that stores qubits, superposition and entanglement, without collapse. Leading approaches. Electromagnetically induced transparency, EIT, in cold atomic vapors or warm alkali cells, slows and stores a photon's quantum state as a collective atomic spin wave. Rare earth-doped crystals, for example, PR:YSO, an atomic frequency comb absorbs the photon, and the state can be re-emitted on demand. Coherence times now exceed 1 hour. Defect centers in diamond, NV centers, or quantum dots, coupling a photon to a single spin. These are not digital memories for classical bits. They store quantum information. They operate at cryogenic or ultra-stable temperatures, have limited bandwidth, megahertz to gigahertz, and are research grade. However, for a photonic quantum processor, they would be the direct analog of the electronic SRAM cache, holding intermediate qubit states while waiting for gate operations. 5. Wavelength division multiplexed WDM, addressable buffers. Many of the above schemes can be scaled using wavelength as an address dimension. Imagine a bank of micro-ring resonators, each tuned to a distinct wavelength. A bit is written into ring I by sending a pulse at lambda I. The ring's bistable state stores the bit. A read pulse at lambda I later retrieves it. This gives random access. The processor can address thousands of memory cells over a single waveguide by simply tuning its laser wavelength. Combined with optical flip-flops or phase change cells, this creates a dense, high-speed optical SRAM/DRAM array. How it fits between the processor and electronic memory. A practical system would layer these memories. 1. L0/L1 optical cache, ultra-fast, small. Implemented as an array of all optical flip-flops or a fast recirculating loop directly on the processor's photonic network. Latency, picoseconds, capacity, kilobytes, holds the immediate working set. 2. L2 optical cache, larger, slightly slower. AWDM addressed bank of phase change memory cells or micro-ring bistables on a separate photonic chiplet. Latency, sub-nanosecond to nanoseconds. Capacity, megabytes. Data is transferred to slash from L1 via optical switches with no conversion. 3. Electronic bridge to DRAM. A dedicated high-bandwidth photonic to electronic interface, for example a bank of fast photodiodes and laser modulators, reads entire cache lines from the optical L2 into electronic SRAM/DRAM and vice versa. This happens asynchronously, in the background, using 100 GHz plus optical interconnects, so the processor almost never sees the DRAM wall. The key challenge. None of these technologies yet offers the perfect combination of speed, density, random access, and manufacturability that electronic SRAM does. Optical flip-flops are fast but bulky. Delay lines are fast but sequential. Phase change memories are dense but have endurance limits. The near-term solution is likely a hybrid optical SRAM, active silicon photonic flip-flops, plus phase change DRAM hierarchy, all integrated on a silicon photonic interposer, with optical links to external electronic RAM. If your optical quantum processor is indeed photonic and quantum, a similar hierarchy applies, with quantum memories, EIT rare earth, replacing the classical bistables, and the bridge to electronics handling measurement results and classical control. The fundamental advantage remains. Storing information in the optical domain and moving it with light eliminates the O/E/O stall, unlocking the true speed of the processor. You can save money and improve security by running local AI models on your PC or Mac. Applications and models are available for free. I can help you get up and running. Contact me for a free demo. You need a PC or Mac with 16 gigabytes or more of memory. I have published more than 700 blogs on AI in the past 3 years. If you get value from these blogs, please join my Patreon as a member at the $2, $4, or $8 per month level. https://www.patreon.com/Steve Hovland. I have a new group on Facebook called GPT-4 All by Steve Hovland. GPT-4 All is a free program that lets you run AI models on almost any PC or Mac. It lets you keep your private data private.